Welcome back to week 3. We're talking about psychological armor. This is day 21. Weekend detox. Actually disconnecting. Let's say it's Saturday morning and you're already thinking about Monday. You're checking your work email just in case. Your stomach tightens when you see your boss's name in your inbox. By Sunday evening, you're filled with dread about the week ahead. Here's the truth. If you're not actually disconnecting from work on your days off, you are giving your bad boss 7 days a week of your life instead of 5. Today, I'm going to teach you how to take your weekends back. Let's explain why disconnecting is so hard. The reason you can't stop thinking about your work is not a lack of willpower. It's because your nervous system is stuck in a state of hypervigilance. When you work for a bad boss, your brain learns that you're in an unpredictable, potentially threatening environment. So even when you're physically away from work, your brain is still scanning for danger. What is Monday going to bring? What email did I miss? What's my boss angry about now? Your mind treats work like an active threat that needs constant monitoring. There's also the practical reality that many bad bosses don't respect boundaries around time off. They will send emails at odd hours. They expect responses on weekends. They've created a culture where being constantly available is seen as being committed. So you've probably learned that disconnecting has consequences. Maybe you come back to passive-aggressive comments about being unreachable. Maybe you missed something urgent because you weren't checking messages. Your brain has been trained that the safest option is to never fully log off, but this is not sustainable. You need actual recovery time or you're going to burn out completely. When you don't disconnect, your stress hormones never get a chance to return to baseline. Your body stays in a state of mild activation all weekend long. This affects your sleep, your relationships, your ability to enjoy anything, and your physical health. You might be sitting at a park with your family or watching a movie, but mentally you are still at work. The people around you can tell that you're not really present, and you're not getting any of the restoration that time away from work is supposed to provide. And there's a compounding effect here. Each week that you don't truly disconnect, you start the next week with less capacity than you had the week before. You're essentially running a marathon where you never got to stop and rest. Eventually, your performance actually declines, which gives your bad boss more ammunition for criticism. And it makes it even harder to disconnect that next weekend. You're caught in a downward spiral where the less you rest, the more like you feel like you can't afford to rest. This goes back to creating actual boundaries and enforcing them. So first, we're going to start by taking your weekends back. You need to create a physical ritual that marks the transition from work time to personal time. On Friday, when you finish work, you have to do something that signals to your brain that the work week is over. Maybe you change your clothes immediately, you go for a walk, or you listen to a specific playlist. The ritual does not matter as much as the consistency of the ritual. You're training your nervous system to recognize that this moment means that you are entering personal time, which is protected time. You have to remove work access from your primary spaces. If you check work email on your phone, delete the app from your home screen or remove the account entirely from your phone for the weekend. If that feels too extreme, you can create a specific time on Sunday afternoon where you will do one single check-in and not before. The key is that you're making a deliberate choice about when you engage with work as opposed to compulsively checking whenever the anxiety spikes. Your brain needs to learn that work exists in a container, not everywhere all the time. Third and most important, you need replacement activities that are engaging enough to hold your attention. Your mind will default to work thoughts if there's nothing else to occupy it. This doesn't mean that you have to fill every moment with intense activities. It means you need things that require enough focus that your brain can't simultaneously run work scenarios. For me, physical exercise is the hands down best way to do this, because as I am out running or pushing weights really, really hard, I have to focus on that. It's very physical, it's in the moment, and after you're done doing a really hard workout session, your brain is like nicer to you, and your body, you just feel like you, first of all, I get like proud of myself, like, okay, I did it, good job. That was, the hardest part is showing up to the gym and starting. But then once you push through that workout and you get to go home and rest and feel really good, to me, there's nothing better. It's like better than antidepressants, and it's better than talk therapy. But that's just for me. That's like what I like to do. It means you need, physical exercise is excellent because it's hard to ruminate when you're concentrating on movement. Creative hobbies work really well on this too. Even if you were cooking a complex meal or working on a home project, it gives your mind something concrete to focus on besides what's going to happen Monday morning. The hardest part of weekend disconnection is usually Sunday evening. There's a dread that starts to build as the weekend ends, and you face going back to the situation with your bad boss. You can't eliminate this entirely, but you can manage it. Instead of letting anxiety build gradually all day on Sunday, set a specific time on Sunday evening where you allow yourself to think about work. Maybe it's 7 p.m. Now, before that time, whenever work thoughts come up, acknowledge them and say to yourself, I will think about that at 7. And this is a practice, guys. You're not going to be good at this the first week or the second week. This takes weeks of consistent, dedicated effort. And if you can't do that, if you have obsessive, compulsive thoughts, I honestly, truly recommend that you go talk to a therapist or get medical treatment, and possibly look into alternative methods to help yourself. But I'm talking about the 90-95% of people that don't have obsessive compulsive disordered thinking, and they can somewhat control their thoughts or at least manage them better. A lot of this, everything I'm talking about, is emotion. It falls under the umbrella of emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence, the first step is awareness of what emotions you're feeling. A lot of times people are scared to do that work, but psychologically it's going to give you it's your superpower. It is what makes you unstoppable, is realizing that, hey, no one else controls my thoughts other than me. And even though I have a hard time managing my own thoughts, I will get better at this. And so that's what this is all about. At 7 o'clock, you then give yourself 30 minutes to prepare. I think that's way too long, but you can give yourself 30 minutes to prepare for the week. You look at your calendar, you review what's coming, maybe you write down first priority, second priority, third priority, and that way it's on paper and you can figure it out Monday. Then I want you to close the laptop or close the notebook, or put a big heavy book on top of the notebook that you've written down your 3 priorities. Close it and you're done. This approach works because it gives your anxiety a productive outlet without letting it colonize your entire weekend. You're not pretending work doesn't exist or trying to never think about it. You are just confining it to a specific window where you can address it practically, and then you move on from it. The rest of Sunday you must protect. Do something you genuinely enjoy Sunday evenings. Watch something funny, hang out with a friend, or do anything that creates positive emotion to counter the dread. Your bad boss already gets 40 or more hours of your week. They don't get to have your weekends too, even if they try to take them. Disconnecting is not about being irresponsible or uncommitted to your job. It is about recognizing that you are a human being who needs recovery time to function. Start small if you need to. Maybe this weekend you just delete your work email from your phone for Saturday. Next Sunday or next weekend, you add Sunday morning and you build the muscle gradually. The goal is to get to a place where your weekends actually feel like time off instead of just a pause before going back to war. You deserve this. Start claiming it back.